What's up, DAW Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Behind the DAW, and in this week's episode, we are going to be interviewing Killin Void. We're going to be talking about things like infinite creativity, why having a system of creativity is super important, why having structured time to create music is super important, as well as a bunch of other things. And we are even giving away a free sample pack from Killin Void and Feastling's song, This Song. If you want the free sample pack, there is a link down in the description, or you can go over to dawnation.net/thissong. Now, if you're brand new to Behind the DAW, this is a podcast where we interview music producers, singers, songwriters, music industry experts, and everyone else that is similar to that on an emotional, philosophical, branding, marketing, and music business basis. The only thing we don't talk about on this podcast is the technical side, how to make sounds, how to master, how to mix, all that kind of stuff. That is on our In the DAW series. Go check that out. But if you are interested in this series, make sure to subscribe. We have tons of content like this. We put out an episode like this every single week, so make sure to subscribe. And if you like this episode, then you are going to love the Crywolf Masterclass. Now, we talk about this a lot in the episode. Killin Void has actually went through the Crywolf Masterclass and received so much value from that. But if you want to learn how to make 30 songs in 30 days, and you want to learn from someone that has an insane music career, that has a cult following, that sold out shows, has millions and millions and millions of streams, if you want to learn how to do that and always have creativity, no matter where you're at in your life, make sure to go check out the link in the description or go over to dawnation.net/Crywolf Masterclass. But DAW Nation, with all that out of the way, let's get into this week's episode of Behind the DAW with Killin Void. I want to welcome you to another episode of Behind the DAW. It's been a while, but we are back and we have Killin Void here. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing absolutely amazing. How are you, Wild?
Dude, I am so stoked because you are the first episode in like 3 years that we are back. We are recording. I've dreamt of this moment. Killin, my guy, I've had like 20 children since the last time we've talked. And I don't know, I'm just ready to get back into talking about music stuff. I'm a family guy. Most of the time I don't have this opportunity to talk. I'm talking too much now. So I want you to talk. And one of the things I want you to talk about is, Killin, what is one of the biggest mistakes that you have made in your music career?
Doing collabs that I was doing more for like the purpose of like reaching out to a new audience more than just feeling like, oh, this makes like perfect sense. And like also like not sticking long enough at these collaborations to be like 100% happy with them. Like I was like at some point like, yeah, whatever, let's just finish it and put it out. And one of those tracks has been doing very well, but I cannot listen to it. Even though there's like some great parts in it, but like there's like some mixing choices and some sound choices that I'm not happy with whatsoever. And I really regret having not stick with like working on that more and maybe being more like, okay, I just want to be put out this collab for the sake of it and being like exposed to like new people. I'm a person, I would say, that likes to think of like every failure and like all the things that I do wrong to learn something from it. And that's why I would not like delete this experience, but that's something that I think I am definitely gonna consider in the future when working on collaborations. There's actually like in this like one, I have it right here in like this Rick Rubin book about creativity. I don't know if you have read it, like a lot of people.
No, I haven't read it at all. It seems incredible.
You haven't? Oh, I can recommend it a lot. But in that book, Rick Rubin basically talks about like that there should never be a compromise in collaborative creative work. It should always get to a point where everyone's happy with it, and you always have to be like willing to let things happen, obviously, and like go out of your comfort zone and stuff. But Rick Rubin is like convinced that there should never be like a compromise where like one person doesn't feel like this is like a good decision. Yeah, that's definitely something I'm trying to take to heart and like really work on when doing like future collaborations. So that's definitely something that, I mean, I would not use the word regret. That's definitely a mistake I've made that I want to avoid in the future.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, one of the biggest mistakes that you've made is, I hate to use the word cutting corners, but maybe just not going as hard as you wanted to with these collabs, or not investing all of that Killin Void energy that you could have. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah. I'd say so.
Maybe got caught up in the energy of just wanting to finish something instead of like small f finish something instead of capital F finish something.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, this is fine. We can release it like that. There's like, if I had the chance, I would do more. But it's like also sometimes it's like this process of like communication, and if like I don't know, the other person is like really hard to respond. And then it's like, okay, like, I don't know, it's taking like for every message back, it takes like a couple of weeks. So I don't want to spend like another year just fine tuning the last bit that I don't like. So I'm just like, okay, let's just do it and drop the song. So there's like sometimes several factors involved. But as I said, it feels really dissatisfying when like this piece of art is out there and you just literally cannot listen to it. I like to listen to my own music. Those tracks I always skip because I'm like, yep, no, this, I'm sorry. For example, in this one song, there's like this perfect little part that I really enjoy, but like the rest of the song, it's like, even though it's like not bad, but it's like these tiny things that I just, not really happy with.
Dude, Killin, that was amazing. Thank you for saying that. And Daw Nation, make sure to stay all the way to the end, because the last question that we're going to be asking Killin Void is, what is the best decision that he made in his music career? Okay, so stay tuned for that. But my guy, I think we need to be honest with Daw Nation here. We actually recorded an episode like 3 years ago. It was a great episode. It was a fantastic episode. It was my fault it never came out. There was a bunch of things that got in the way with internal stuff with Daw Nation. I thought that we should redo this, give it a nice little 2025 polish to it. You've been with Daw Nation for so long. I've been listening to episodes, taking courses, and the one that I feel like you have a lot of roots in and that has provided a lot of benefit to you is the Cryo Masterclass, which is the primary thing that we talked about in the last episode. For those who don't know what it is, can you give it like a 30-minute, wow. Can you do a 3-hour spill? Can you do like a 30-second, spill of what the Cryo Masterclass is, what it was for you, how it helped you, so on and so forth? Could you do that for us?
Yes, absolutely. So like the Cryo Masterclass teaches a creative system that involves a inspiration phase, a creation phase, and a finishing phase. So it takes course over like basically like it's like 60 days of like working on music and finishing music, and then there's like 2 weeks before of like getting inspiration. And the idea is to like guarantee you to make your best work within a given amount of time, and like to always be inspired no matter where you are at in life, to give yourself a space to gather inspiration and then have like a space to create like without any judgment and with like a lot of space, creative space to work with. And it's been the system I've been working with ever since I heard about it. So it was like I remember I watched it like shortly after like the first COVID times, and I've been sticking to it ever since then. It's been I just looked it up. I just recently finished my 7th creation. I like to call them creation phases, honestly. I don't know like how Cryo calls them, but it's been my 7th 30-day challenge, so to say. But I like to call them creation phases because like I've been switching between like the amount of days I've been doing. So the last one was actually 40 days. Yeah, I've been sticking to like the main idea of this concept. I've been changing like tiny things, trying out new things. Even you guys suggest that in the system, but it's been like such a huge influence on what I'm doing, and it's been absolutely amazing influence at that.
Dude, that's incredible, because I know the last time we talked, you were mentioning that you doing this system to help you with your creativity, creating songs consistently and stuff like that it really helped. And that was 3 years ago. So to hear now, 3 years later, you're still using it, you're still applying it, and it's helping you so much. That's just incredible. And I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you for all the growth that you had. In the last 3 years, Killin, what are some of the biggest highlights in your music career that has happened? Because I've tried to keep up with you. I got a lot going on. I know you released a song with Pixel Terror. I know you had, what was it, Dion Timmer playing out one of your songs that you made in your system. Is that right? You got any other highlights you want to share? You got any flexes? You want to flex hard right now?
Like Dion is like a great supporter, to be honest. Like he's been playing out a lot of my stuff. We have been trying to work on something together as well. So we'll see how that goes. That's pretty exciting. Personally, for me, feels like such an honor, like really deep down. It's like Dylan Brady of 100 Gags playing out one of my songs, because he's like been like my absolutely biggest idol ever since I've like not ever since I very first found him, because I know like a friend of mine actually showed me his music like years back when he was like making something different. And apparently, I didn't even remember, but apparently I told my friend, why don't you go listen to like normal music? Apparently, I don't know. And then years later, I rediscovered them when they came back as like 100 gags, and I absolutely fell in love. And they've been like the biggest inspiration. So them supporting my music in like DJ sets like was like the biggest honor ever. I don't know, like other than that, I've been playing like some really cool shows at like some venues that I've really enjoyed during like the Spotify rap season, seeing like all the people that had me in their rap being like a really big influence on their day-to-day life for people to actually like have me in like their top 5 with like some of my songs. That's just like so humbling and beautiful. So that's like, yeah, one of the main things, because it's sometimes hard to tell from like all these numbers, like what does it mean and like how does it feel like, but like seeing that people really like spend a lot of time with my music and like actual faces and like names behind those numbers. That's really beautiful.
So one of the things that we talked about before we started recording is that you really want to talk about your artist direction over the years, right? Which I'm assuming is, you know, when you initially started Killin Void and kind of what you've learned over the years. Is that right? Is that what you're going with that?
Yes, absolutely. Like I think that's just like a super interesting topic. Like for like I also like I'm always super interested like about other artists, like how they go about it, how they approach developing their sound but staying true to like some core, or like how they branch out entirely into new things, how they just go about those things, and how they also like keep things interesting, how they keep their motivation up, how they find new things that inspire them, how they not stay in loops and stuff like that. So I think that's a really interesting topic, to be honest, and I'm always happy to learn about how other artists approach that.
So let's talk about it with you then. So what do you feel like are some of the most core concepts, biggest takeaways from your artist direction changing over the years?
So the interesting thing, I think, is that I do have like the system that is staying the same, basically. I have like the same way of giving myself the space to create during these, usually it's 30-day and 30 songs challenges. And so that's staying the same, but obviously what I'm doing in those changes over time. See, and for me, like what has changed is narrowing down, to be honest. I've been like, always been like branching out to new things, but I feel like, at least for now, my sound my soundscape and like my sound choices and the way I approach arrangement, it's actually like narrowing down more and more. And I really like that, to be honest. I really feel like I found like my voice and all that. And so that's really interesting. Like obviously at some point there needs to be like something new. There needs to be a point where it's like, and I sometimes hit that where I'm like, okay, like this is getting like too repetitive to some degree. But right now it's like been feeling really great to narrow down on like the sound choices. I have been switching more and more to drum and bass instead of what people usually probably associate dubstep with me. I've always been doing drum bass, like every now there's been usually at least one drum bass release I had each year. I feel like a big influence there is like just my surrounding, the friends that I have, and the fact that I live in Europe. Like it's like so much drum bass around me, and there's like barely any dubstep shows around here. So like just it feels so far away. Like all the whole dubstep scene with like the whole dubstep scene being mainly in the US, it feels like very far away. And I'm not really the person to be like really online all the time. So I know that there's like some people that are like super connected with like friends over the internet, and they share things and stuff, and they're on Discord servers and in Facebook groups and stuff like that. I'm like not really that kind of person. I really get like the most inspiration from like my friends that I have here in this country and like that I have around me. They mainly do drum bass, to be honest, and the events here are also mainly drum bass, and so it's like drum bass all around me, and it's really obviously inspires me a lot to be like physically in these spaces and like get inspiration from these people. So it's been really like just speeding up my songs and having obviously a different drum rhythm, but I feel like the core of my sounds and like my aesthetics, like they are like, I have been defining them a lot over the last couple of years that I don't know, I feel like it's like pretty much the same. I feel like I'm making like color bass or like future rhythm, but like with drum and bass drums under it. And it feels beautiful because I can combine like the things that I've been doing for years, but just putting them in this new context, which I'm inspired by at this moment right now.
In the vein of talking about your artist direction changing over the years, there's kind of two different ways that artists kind of progress or change over time, because that is what you want. You want your sound to change and progress over time, right? If you literally made the same type of song from day one to the last day you ever make music, that's boring, right? You don't want that. So you do want it to change somewhat. So I've seen it done in two different ways. The first way is that, like, for example, let's take the dubstep bass, neuro bass artists. They start there, they love it, but eventually they kind of abandon their roots and they go into like this much more chill future bass kind of thing. And it's kind of like a bait and switch. It's kind of like, whoa, this isn't what I signed up for. You know what I mean? It's like going to a steakhouse and all of a sudden it turns into an Olive Garden. You're like, when did this happen? Like this is two different experiences, right? Where there's the other method, which is things like slowly change and evolve over time. Things start to, like you were saying, you incorporate more elements of drum and bass or whatever, and you can see the evolution of the sound over time. You know what I mean? It'd be the equivalent of the steakhouse, slowly incorporating fettuccine alfredo, or slowly and giving it some spaghetti, that kind of stuff. With your brand, what do you feel? Do you feel like you're doing this huge switch, or do you feel like you're just slowly changing over time? Because I think you're slowly changing over time, but what do you think?
Yeah, like as I said, I've been releasing drum and bass already all the time, and my releases years ago were already drum bass. It's just that I always felt like a dubstep artist, but when I look at my discography and like my top songs right now, it's like 3 of them are drum bass songs, and I feel like, okay, like it's like so fine to be doing that because I'm already basically doing it. It's just like how I frame myself in my head, I feel like. And so I feel like from like putting things out, it's like gonna be very smooth. Just like this, honestly, this last creation phase, I basically like started off like setting every project at like 170, 174. There's like one dubstep song that I made that is actually gonna come out at some point. But like I basically like from creation standpoint, I was like, okay, I wanna like dive deep into like finding like my way to make drum and bass. But like I think it is already smoothly has been already evolving smoothly into that direction. So that's what I try to tell myself. Like obviously some people are gonna be like, okay, like this they are in for like the 150 stuff, and there are gonna be people that are alienated by having this different rhythm, I guess, and the different speed, and like obviously like some other elements. I always had that already, like there's like some people that want like the color bass Killin Void from 2021. There's like some people that want like the hyperpop Killin Void from like 2022. It's always changing to some degree, and there's always gonna be some people that are gonna drop out, and I'll be like, hey, this is not for me anymore. The only thing that I can do is like do what inspires me right now and try to find like a great way to incorporate it into my world. Like I don't think that staying true to yourself just means, oh, like I don't care at all like what I've done previously. I just want to focus on the moment and what I'm feeling right now. I think like part of a creative act and like of a creative work is forging a world that makes sense. I think I am having a lot of fun also communicating it to people that it makes sense for me to switch into this direction, like not for just being like, oh, I don't care at all like about the stuff that I did previously. I do. I wanna like progress smoothly into those things and not be like, oh, all this the branding, all like the fans I had before. I just want to do what I feel like. I want to do what I feel like, but I think it's like also an amazing creative challenge to find a way to make it work and have it make sense. And when I try to make a drum bass tune, I'm like, okay, like how can I incorporate these things that I used to do and that I obviously love, and how can I put them into this new thing that I'm trying to do? So I see it as a creative challenge to make it work and make a smooth transition there.
It sounds like you've had a healthy brand evolution over time, so you're not just staying stagnant, you are adding new things, you're trying new things, which is exactly what you want to do while still staying, true to the core of the Killin Void project. Has there been any fans or any people that have been, very vocal about you changing, saying like, hey, what the heck, don't do this anymore. We like the old Killin Void, stop trying the new things and just live in this little box that I've made for you, Killin? Like, has there been anything like that, or have they been by and large very accepting of it?
I don't really know many people, to be honest. There's just this one person, I guess, that has been like sending me like a lot of things in my Instagram DMs and been like kind of like, there has been like some good heart in it. I think this person wanted to help me. It was like, yeah, you need to do this and that. And you like this one sound you had in your, like this one style you went for in like your Rushdown EP. Like this is the thing you should be following, and you should see yourself as like a brand, and you should keep at that and keep doing that and stuff like that. So I think there was like some good intent behind it, but like it didn't make any sense. It was like a little out of place because I got like a lot of voice memos from this person, a lot of long voice memos, and was like, hey, you, like, I don't know you, while like I spending all this time telling me those things. And I approached it with like some very lightheartedly, and to be honest, I found it kind of funny as well. The funny thing is that I realized that it got to me, really. Like I was making music and thinking about this person, and even though it was like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna listen to this voice memo and see what he's trying to tell me now. Or her or them, I don't know who this person was really, but I realized that even though I thought like on an intellectual level that I'm like, okay, yeah, this person just thinks this way, but I don't think that way. But it actually got to me. Like when I was making music, I had this person in my head and was thinking about those things, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop responding. I'm gonna stop opening those messages because it obviously affected me in some way, like not in a super bad way, but I realized that something in me was like, okay, I need to be like think about this and like the thing how people perceive me.
On the one hand, I could foresee if you really like a brand, if you really like, a music producer, then, you could reach out and give them some advice that could make their life easier. For example, if I was watching a Behind The DAW episode with Killin Void and he mentions some plugin, you could probably send a DM and be like, oh, by the way, I don't know if you like this plugin, you may like this plugin. So it's like very natural. It's nice. It brings value somehow. But it sounds like this person took it too far. I mean, it's like all of a sudden they like took upon themselves to be the creative director of Killin Void. Is that right? Like, it's like they kind of like crossed the line. It's like, okay, like I get it. You're trying to be nice, but like
if it was like, I feel like this person saw themselves in like a position of like being a manager or something like that, and being like, hey, you should be doing this and that. And even like a manager, I don't know, shouldn't be doing that to this extent.
So you, Killin, you are the artist. You are the creator. It is your responsibility to take the concepts in your mind and your heart and to create them into an audio form, right? And so when someone comes and tells you, oh, hey, no, you didn't create it right. You didn't translate right from your mind or your heart to the DAW. It's like, what? Like that doesn't make sense. You don't have the authority to say that. I think it's fine, especially if it's someone that you work with or that you trust, and they say, have you thought about doing this here? Or, like, are you willing to open for feedback? Stuff like that. That's fine. But at the end of the day, you are the creator. That is your job, right? And everyone else, any other part of the team, the manager, the friends, all that kind of stuff, they have to give deference to that. They have to understand, hey, this is Killian's like playground. This is his sacred space. And to come in and say, no, your sacred space isn't enough. It isn't sacred enough. You're not supposed to have this here. You're supposed to have this here. It's like, who are you to do this? I understand that is what you would do in your sacred space, but this is my sacred space, and that's not okay. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Like if I ask for it, and if there's like a point where I'm like, hey, how can I do this better? Because I'm a little unsure, like how I want to translate this. And there's like some trusted friends. I always have like this group of friends that gives me feedback on my tracks, and I just know that they understand my vision. I think that's like a big important part, because there are some people that can help you, but they have to understand what you're going for, and sometimes it can help to have like a different perspective on things if they know where you're going. But this person did really not understand what I was going for and where I was at this moment. My friends, they do understand it, and if they say, hey, maybe you want to try this and that, so that I'm gonna listen to my friends then, because they know what I'm going for. And I mean, sometimes I'm not listening to them because I know, okay, I see where you're getting from. I'm gonna keep it like that, the way I am. Like I have this friend that always gives me. As I mentioned, I have like these friends that always give me feedback, and I just recently had like this moment where I was like, I usually apply like everything you tell me, and like all the things usually make sense. I'm like, oh yeah, you're so right about this and that. And then was like this one thing where it was like, okay, like you have like this one section, like this is, I don't know, I think it's really funny. I've like this rather serious drum bass tune I've been working on, and I have this basically like 4 seconds of the entire song switching into like a punk tune. And I think it's pretty hilarious, and I think it works really well. But this friend was like, hey, this like throws me really off guard, and it's like makes it maybe like not really accessible to some people and stuff like that. And was like, yep, you're right, but I'm gonna keep it like that. And I had like this other friend that was like, yeah, I absolutely love those joys that you had there. So I was like, okay, I'm like really confident. If like everyone was gonna tell me that that it throws them off, if I really feel comfortable about it, I would probably still be doing it. It would be something more to consider if like I've like absolutely if I fail to get the reaction that I want to go for, because I also want to evoke emotions in people, obviously. And if I somehow fail to do that, like music isn't just about like, I think like making like your own emotions heard. I think it also like a little skill to help other people understand your emotions, and like putting the things that you have in your head in like a form that other people can relate to some degree. Like it's a fine line, I think. But yeah, getting back to like the thing we talked about, like you can have feedback from outside, but it's very important to know like who those people are, what they are trying to go for, and if they really understand what you are trying to do.
It's amazing that you have these group of friends that you can talk to, that you can bring, your tracks to. I would really hope that these friends that you have, that you guys have the type of relationship where if they said, oh, you need to have this element in there, or like, for example, the what you just said, which is, hey, this section, it kind of throws me off. And if you say something to the extent of, thank you, but I'm going to keep it, and they say, cool, yeah, like whatever. And they walk away. They don't take it personally. They're not like, oh, you never listened to my advice. I wish there was this understanding with the people that you have close in your life, within your artistic life, where you can say, I want your advice, but know that I am not going to follow it 100% of the time. And that's okay. That doesn't reflect anything about you. That doesn't mean you suck. That doesn't mean I hate your advice. It just means sometimes I like your advice and sometimes I don't. What is something that maybe someone told you, maybe from a podcast or one of your friends told you something in the beginning when you were very first starting, and you absolutely ignored it? You're like, it's not for me. I don't want to do that. But you really wish you did. You really wish you would have listened to them. You wish you would have applied what they were saying. Is there something like that happened in the early days of Killin Void?
I was really skeptical of like the concept of musicians being able to really express emotions in their music. It sounds a bit weird, but stick with me for a second. So for like a long time, I was always like when I started making music, I was like just chasing like this high of like drops sounding like super cool and like super interesting, like discovering new sounds and like being really excited about that. And for me, it was like mainly that. I was like exciting to find these new sounds, and it's like absolutely beautiful, Back then it still was to some degree, because like the excitement of finding these sounds and creating worlds of that is still emotions that I'm translating into my music. But it took me like a while, and maybe like once again, like the Cry with Masterclass really helped me with that, to really like work on like personal feelings with music and like write about something that I'm feeling, or like express something that I'm feeling. I don't know, I didn't do that for a very long time, or like I did like very passively. It was just happening as I went about it. But like starting to do these creation phases and like doing like these rewrites where you are like writing for a couple of minutes about like things that are just coming out of your consciousness, that really made me start to find out about like certain feelings that I had within me, and then actually writing music about those feelings that I had in me. And it's been like such, I don't know, it made me get so much closer to my own art. Like I'm feeling so deeply connected to like a lot of my music, because it's like they are just about like feelings that I had during certain times or that I still have. And it's not anymore like only about drop. I mean, the drop is beautiful, and the finding like fun sounds and like exploring sound design techniques, it's like absolutely beautiful. But having like a story around that and like writing about like my own feelings, writing my own lyrics and working with like vocalists, that has been like a really huge thing that I ignored for quite some time. Like, I mean, I think it's something that most people are aware of, that you can write about your own feelings, but to those people that still maybe, I mean, not everyone has to make emotional music, obviously. It's obviously super fine if you just want to play around with sounds and make like very fun, I don't know, like sound design pieces, basically. Not everyone has to do like emotional pieces. Like, that would be boring. I also sometimes want to listen to like a track that where it's like only about like fun sounds and stuff like that. I love those tracks. But for me, discovering that this is something that I like doing and that really helps me work with my emotions, that has been really beautiful development for me. And I did not at first like understand it when I remember who told it me. It was like my great cousin or something like that. It was like one of the first kind of music mentors I ever had, because it was like a relative of mine that actually was a music producer, and this was like the first person that I ever talked to about music production, stuff like that, and it was really beautiful. But he talked about like very obvious concepts, but at first I was like, yeah, I don't know, I just want to make like fun sounds, and yeah, that changed over time.
The thing that people told you to do, or at least that you were aware of that you should do or could do, that could be beneficial to you, but you kind of put it off for a while, instead of just creating bangers, it was to create, these kind of emotional pieces of art that truly express your thoughts, your feelings, your experiences, what you feel on the inside. So I'm not saying that we can't make bangers. I'm not saying that emotional songs can't be bangers. I'm not trying to say that. I'm not just saying that every song has to be emotional like the way that you were saying. What I'm saying is that it leaves something to be desired when you leave one of both out. Meaning, if you just make bangers, it leaves something to be desired for the more weighty topics, the more weighty concepts, the more emotionally dense topics. And if you just do the more emotionally dense topics and don't have the bangers in there, there's something to be desired as well. Does that make sense? Could you agree with that?
Yeah, sure. Like, I don't know, like for my artist project, I like to combine those. If people are happy with like just creating like one of those things and it's like fulfills them and it's fine with them, I'm happy to, whatever mood I'm in, I'll like just switch like whatever I listen to, and then maybe like, I don't know, I'm in the gym and I just want to listen to bangers and I don't care that much about like how this one girl broke your heart, but I just want to listen to like some crazy whops that make me push another rep, so, and sometimes it's the other way around, so I couldn't live with only one of them.
Yeah, and I think I'm there with you, because you're right. And if there are specific artists that just want to make bangers, that just want to make emotional music, you're right, we probably shouldn't poo-poo those.
If it feels right with them, I mean, I can personally just recommend everyone to try writing about your emotions and like dive into that, because it feels great and it brings you like so close to your own art. I mean, I also like talking about like the banger music. I think it's also like very emotional to have like the live experience, like if I don't know, like look at people like Infact, they have been doing like rhythm for a very long time, and I am wondering like, how can you like do like only like this hard music all the time? But I don't know, like the live experience and like the vibes that these people create live and like the energy that you get live, I think this is very inspiring.
Along this topic of, you expressing your feelings through music, I've heard people bring up the concept of there are some feelings or some emotions why, like, I don't want to walk into that realm because there's some feelings or some emotions that are just too painful. I can't handle that. Maybe I just don't have the words to fully adequately explain what I'm going through. Maybe I just, there's some trauma there. I don't want to go back into that place. Has that happened for you? Or do you feel, have you been able to access those emotions unfettered and been able to convey them? Or has there been some struggle for you? You've had to kind of work through it to be able to express some emotions. How's that been going?
I feel like I never shied away from anything. Like, I feel like whenever there is something that's like really intense within me, I think that's the absolutely best thing, to be honest, in some way. Like, it can be really tough in my everyday life, but for my art, it's like absolutely beautiful. And the art is like the best thing that can help me at that moment. Like, I have been going through like some rather emotional, turbulent times like a year ago. It's like nothing super crazy, basically a breakup, you know. It's been hitting really hard, but I don't know, there was like this phase where I was like really like not feeling really good. And like the only thing that I was able to do was sit down in front of my DAW and make like a certain type of music that really hit what I was feeling. And that was like such a great thing. And like really beautiful things came out of that. And I think I was like also helping myself with making these things. And I don't know, I love the tracks that I made back then, and they helped me through going through these tough times. And this is absolutely a great thing. And I don't know, maybe they are like, I don't know, I think I'm really blessed with like not experiencing like super bad things in my life that I might be scared of confronting. It came very easy to me to work through it with art. Like, it wasn't too scary to me, to be honest. I really liked I can understand that it can be scary for people, especially if you write lyrics about like very personal things, then you put it out there and it's for everyone to see. That's like an absolutely scary thing, to be honest. I like it, to be honest. And I think the only thing that I'm scared of is like being like hurting like the people that it's might be about. But I think I still try to find like very tasteful ways. It usually already naturally comes out in like a very dreamlike and like a very, in like some way, abstract form. So I think it's like very fine in that way as well.
So with these intense emotions and you putting words to these intense emotions and putting them into songs, you haven't shied away from it. You've hit it head on. You've actually, I don't want to say been excited for it, but you've realized the potential that comes from those feelings, and you've leveraged it. You've put it into songs, and it's been actually very therapeutic, cathartic for you, and you've done it in a very tasteful way. So you're not throwing anyone underneath the bus. As I reminisce back on our episode that we did like 3 years ago, one of the big topics that we talked about that we haven't touched on yet is the idea of a schedule, like being intentional with your time and with your music, that when you leave your music up to chance, the chance is that it's not going to get done. It's just going to fall to the wayside, so on and so forth. How is your schedule with that? I know we talked about waking up early back then. Do you still set aside time every single day? Is it, is it a prescriptive time? Is it more free flowing now? What does that look like for you?
I really like structure. I really thrive on structure. If you are working creatively like a lot, most people already, I feel like, know that to some degree, but like maybe like some people that are rather new to making music or creativity, structure does not mean that creativity has no space. I think to some degree it can help most people to have even more space for creativity, and like for some people like me, it helps me really a lot. And like the way that I use structure is like, obviously I have my creation phases, like usually like twice a year, where I create my music. But I also found like this one thing actually that really sticked with for a long time, which is like, no matter what my to-do list looks like, I am gonna be making music for, obviously, except if there's like an appointment that I can't avoid. But if I have the flexible time, even though if there might be like some rather urgent to-dos, the first hour or 1.5 hours of the day, I am gonna be making music, no matter what. And this has been like such I basically like blocked like those things like daily in my Google Calendar, which is like just a purple space that says void. And it's like, I don't know, like so beautiful knowing that every day that I wake up, I have like this space that says void, and I can just be Killin Void in that time and just dive within like my music. And even though there might be like some things that are like on my to-do list, they are gonna have their time. But it just feels like the most important project got its time each day. And it's like, it can get very easy if you don't have like the pressing the deadline on your music, that you're like, oh, okay, like obviously I can finish this song whenever, so might as well do like this thing that has like kind of urgent on it, but it's not that important actually. Even though it might not be urgent, it's like the most important thing that I want to get done. So I'm just putting it in there. I'm having some progress on it, and whatever comes next is gonna come next. And maybe there's like nothing else on the to-do list for that day. So I am just gonna keep on working on the song, and then that's gonna be fine. I can just really recommend that to people to like just whenever they have the space, like just focus on if you have the freedom to do so, just focus on your craft for like the first part of your day, and then everything else comes next, because it's so easy to fill up your time with like random things that are not that important and seem kind of urgent, replying to like some emails, fixing this, fixing that. Creativity and like creative tasks are like also a thing that you can very easily procrastinate on because it feels so big. But just having like this one little space where you create, and just having like this 1 hour, which is like very manageable time, real nice thing that and like a very specific thing, but like a really amazing thing that I stick with for like a very long time now. And it's been like structure-wise, been really great to have, and like really as like aside from like the creation phase and stuff like that, because that is already like a lot of structure, but we already talked about that a little bit. But outside of that, I think that's something that really helped me.
So the first part of your day, are you waking up early? Are you on artist schedule? Are you waking up at 3 p.m.? Like what's it?
No, I'm like weirdo musician. I wake up early still, and I'm not like a really late person. I mean, it's I'm talking to this a lot about people, and I feel like it's basically like a really similar thing, because like the feeling that I enjoy about waking up early is like, okay, like the world is like maybe still a little asleep, and it's like very quiet. Nobody wants anything from me. And basically, like people that are night owls, they get the same thing out of the of being a night owl, with like the world already being asleep, and they have now the time and the space to create something. So I think that's really interesting. That it's like very similar. But I just get up very easily in the morning. I'm just somebody that can like wake up and like be like very energized very quickly. That's just where I thrive. So but that's like up for everyone. Like everybody's body is a little different, and I really enjoy waking up, going to sleep a little earlier. I'm sure it doesn't perfectly work for everyone, but you should. I heard people say that maybe some people label themselves as a night owl, even though it wouldn't be so necessary. There's like some things that point toward it being a little more healthy. And obviously, like our society is structured in a way where like everything is like more scheduled and like structured toward like early parts of the day, and like waking up at like rather early times. It's definitely something that I think people could give a try, but I still understand that it's like not for everyone, and you just need to listen to like your gut feeling, I think, there, and like to listen to your body. What feels good. But yeah, I still get up early, and I really enjoy it.
When you wake up, how long do you usually produce for? How long is that void on your calendar?
Wait, let me see like what it actually says. I try to keep it like not too big. It's like, I see it's just 1 hour, because I just want to keep it like, if there's like something pressing, it's still manageable. And like a lot of times it goes longer than that, but it's just this one block of like 1 hour where just do that. Like usually it's probably like 25 minutes. Then I get up for a second, so I don't like sit in my chair all the time, and then probably another 25 minutes, or like a little longer than that. But like basically just an hour in the morning. It's like a minimum of 1 hour. Like I want to do 1 hour no matter what. And if there's like, because if life is busy, it's still manageable.
Do you do any like afternoon sessions or night sessions with music, or is it just primarily in the morning?
I do have afternoon sessions for sure. Night sessions barely ever. Like, to be honest, like not at all really. I'm just, after like a certain time, I just want to calm down, and like being in front of a computer and working like gets me very activated. And I'm like not somebody to like, since I am I would consider myself to be like a relatively activated person and like very energized person most of the time. I also have a problem with calming down, so I try to give myself a lot of space to wind down in the evening and not work too much, and be like already stop working at like 8 the latest, and then like everything after that it's just like leisure time and like calming down time, and like nothing work related, because if I think too much about work when I go to bed, I really have trouble falling asleep. That's why I don't ever have night sessions, except if it's like with other people, collaborating with other people that are like rather late workers, or there's like something really special going on for some reason, but like it's like not the norm at all for me.
What is a question that people never ask you, but you wish they always would, in relation to your music? Right, you're just like, come on, you're just waiting. You're waiting for the producer you're working with to ask you this question. They never do, and
I'd be happy to answer more often what the lyrics are about that I write. And I mean, since it is EDM. It is like not focused on those usually. Yeah, like for me to share what it's about. And I've been trying to do that more with like the videos I post about my music. So there's been like this one song that I really enjoyed, and I tried to make like a very big promo video for it. And the promo video was supposed to help amplify like everything that's like around the track and what the track is supposed to mean. I'm trying to basically like not just be like, oh, I wish people would ask me more. Like I'm basically like doing like the active step of being like, okay, like I'm showing you like and giving you more input. Like I don't want to take away everything, so it's like still feels like an experience everyone can have for themselves, and like not spoon feeding people the experience. That's I think it's really nice if art like has like a certain leaves things up to a certain degree so that you can connect to it better, because it's like not telling you how to feel, but it's like leaving like a certain part open to it, and then you can fill in like your own gaps and like your own experiences with it. If people were to ask me about like what a song might be about, I would carefully choose my words not to over interpret it for them. Like I would just sometimes like to give like a little more input, but I am working on that by just creating like more videos about it, or like sometimes I'm just straight up going there and sharing like what the song is about to a certain degree if I feel like it's appropriate to share that about it. But I'd be happy for like people to ask me more about that sometimes.
Is there particular lyrics that you're thinking about right now that you're like, man, no one has asked me about this yet, I really want to explain these lyrics? But is there something like that that's on the tip of your tongue you want to give us the tea on?
There's like this one song. Oh, this is like something that's maybe nice to share. It's called Our Favorite Songs, and it's one of my favorite songs that I ever made. And it's kind of this is a song. I have mixed feelings for it because I really love the song, and it's about like very positive emotions. The problem with the song is that it's kind of was like very like. I wouldn't even know what genre it is, to be honest. But it was like a very different genre. It's like 140 BPM, but it has like not a halftime beat. It has like 4 to the floor kicks. It had like offbeat bass, and it had like a melody on it during the drop. And I wouldn't even know what to call it. It's like speed house or something like that. I don't really know. It kind of went under the radar because I think people didn't really know how to categorize it. And also like everything I made up to this point didn't really build up the right audience for this kind of track. I still feel like it's like I did a really great job on this track, and basically what it is about is like just have like this feeling of like being somewhere that's like not your home, being somewhere else with like a person that is really close to your heart, enjoying like things that you both care about and that you both connect with, and which in this case is like just music. Like I'm talking in the song, I'm talking about like listening to your favorite songs with this person in like this different place that you're just escaping from everyday life. Something that I just experienced exactly like that during like a holiday in Italy. And it's like just talking about it makes me like really feel this warm fuzzy feeling, even though it's like a long time ago, and it's like with a person that I'm like not that close anymore with. But it's like, I don't know, like a really beautiful track. I think whenever people ask me what my favorite song is of my of for me, I usually say that. And just that now that I say it, I think that's also like a question that artists usually like to answer. And I've had this question asked a bunch of times before, but I still would love to answer it more, because then I can talk about this track, which is not, which kind of went under the radar for a lot of people. So I also like that question. So like answering the question you asked me before, that's also like, I also like answering the question which my favorite song from myself is, because then I can talk about my favorite song.
So as we're getting close to the end here, we are going to do some rapid fire questions. And then don't forget, we're also going to ask Killin Void about what is the best decision he made for his music career. So let's go with these rapid fire questions. And really, I mean, they could be, one word answers. They could be 3-paragraph answers. I don't care. Answer as much or as little as you want with these. Okay. So the first question I got for you is, what's your go-to distraction when you should be working on music? Which, for you, you have structured time to make music, but yeah, do you even have this problem? Is this a problem for you?
Of course, no. I'm still a human being, and honestly, it's food. I'd say I really like procrastinating with cooking and with eating. But I think like there's worse ways to procrastinate than making yourself a really nice meal. When I'm like not too motivated to make music, I'm really looking forward to like this lunch break where I can go out and then I can like cut up some vegetables and make like some great food. So that's actually like a procrastination method that I really like.
What's one thing you do every day, no matter what, besides waking up and producing? What's something that's we haven't talked about yet?
I'm not doing it every day, but something that I am really I have been keeping as a habit since like, what's that now? Probably like 7 years is meditation. I try to meditate pretty much every day for 10 minutes, focus on it more when I'm in the inspiration phase and like creating music, because it helps me connect with my creative side. But still outside of that, there's just so much evidence for like it helping you on very on like so many levels. Just so many beautiful things come out of that. It's like it doesn't always hit the same way. There's like sometimes when I'm like sitting down for these 10 minutes and they fly by, and maybe I just got lost up in like some thoughts actually, and it wasn't that helpful. But like still just sitting down and like taking this time, taking the space, like not always getting input, but just like staying still and being maybe like a little bit bored. It's like really important for your brain. So that's really something I try to do every day usually. Something that I'm doing right now is like just practicing keyboard, because I think I always wanted to be able to play an instrument, and I'm trying to really get into that now. And I have like this little 30-minute block reserved every day to just improve my keyboard skills. And I think if you're making music, just knowing like some kind of instrument, if you're not already able to play one, it's just so beautiful to learn instruments. So I can really recommend people that.
What next question is, what's a piece of advice that you absolutely hate, but people keep giving you this piece of advice?
To be like very more careful with my mix downs and with distortions, and I'm undetailed with those things, and I don't know, I think it's really fine. Like I just push things into the clipper at the end. I just go overboard with distortion. I just don't pay too much details into my mix downs. I just trying to mix as I go, and then just do as I feel like. And I think professors from my uni would probably tell me to be more careful with that, and probably a lot of other people would do that as well. But that's something that I don't take too close to my heart, because it's just what feels right for me.
Yeah, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, right? That you are the creator, that is your role. Other people are just observing. And if they give you a piece of advice, like be careful with your distortions, be careful with your mix down, you say, thank you. No, I'm going to do what I want, right? And it doesn't fit my vision, doesn't fit, me conveying my heart into audio. And so great answer, man. Next question I got for you is, what's a piece of art that you recommend constantly? So this piece of art could be TV show, movie, book, music, album, video game, anything like that you're constantly recommending to people because of how much it's affected you.
I mean, I already mentioned it like already before, but I really love this book from Rick Rubin. There's like so many like wherever you're at, whatever your approach is, there's going to be something for you in there in this book. It's called like the creative act, a way of being. Like you see like these little bookmarks. That's like things that I really deeply resonated with, and probably in like a couple of years I'm gonna read through it again, and there's gonna be like different things because I'm like in a different stage. So that's something that I can really recommend to people read, like even like outside of music.
If you weren't doing what you're doing now, what's the wild alternate universe version of your life? Like, what in another dimension, what are you doing, man? What's the other passion that you're pursuing over there?
I mean, I am thinking about this, on like a, I don't know, like some sort of like a yearly basis or something like that. So to see if I still align with what I'm doing, and what if this was stripped away from me, the whole music thing. And I think it would be something where I can help people, and it would be something where I could be outside. I think like a little bummer of like the thing that I'm doing is to be inside all the time, and I love being outside, and I would just love to do something that's outside where I can move my body. And ideally, on top of that, it would be like absolutely perfect. It would be something where I could be of help to people that might need it.
Yeah, man. Killin Void, yoga in the park, helping people. That's what
that
comes
sounds
to mind.
amazing. Yeah, let's go. Let's do that. I love yoga.
Cool, dude. Well, that brings us to the final question, which is, what is the undeniably best decision that you have made for your music career?
The creative system I've been following from Crywolf on so many levels is just so beautiful, and just holds up so well because it makes so much sense, and it's just so timeless, I think, because it just wraps around whatever where you're currently at, because you have like this inspiration phase where you can just go into whatever you feel like inspires you right now, and it just gives you like the opportunity to like really look into yourself and where you're at right now. Like obviously, like I wonder how things are gonna develop when I've been like in a very lucky position where I was like in a university where I was like studying like music production. So I was always able to follow these creation phases and like take all this chunk of my time, because it was like playing into like the university thing. And right now I'm like, yeah, I'm still in university, but I've barely any lectures. So I have like so much space to follow the system. I wonder how it would be like if I don't know what's gonna happen in the next years, and how much time I have for these things. I hope I do have as much time as I want and need for these things. But right now it's been like such a beautiful thing to always be inspired, always know where I'm at, and what I want to do. Then like the system of like creating like something new every day is just so genius, because you take out all this pressure, and I think pressure is like the biggest killer for creativity, because and I wrote like 2 of my bachelor theses on creativity, and I think the biggest thing that blocks creativity is like pressure and like expectations. And you take a lot, like obviously not all of it, but like most of the pressure away when you can say, hey, it doesn't matter if I make book today, because I have 29 days more to give it a shot. And also like now doing it a lot of times, it's totally fine to put like 25 of those ideas into the trash and only stick with like 5 of the best tracks that you made during this time, because it's just an eventuality that at some point there's something good that is gonna happen during these 30 days. And if it's just 2 or 3 things, but it's like one of the best things that you made that you ever made, it's like absolutely fine. It's probably it's gonna happen. It's just gonna happen. It never happened that there's like nothing coming out of it. It's like always a few tracks, and they are absolutely beautiful and they work so well. Honestly, I barely ever did like the finishing phase, because I always felt like, okay, I'm putting like so much things on the side that I need to catch up to after the 30 days. For the first time, I did the finishing phase as well, and it makes so much sense. And it's so stupid that I never followed it, but it's like so good because you are like a problem I had was like when I didn't keep up with that was like that I kind of lost the flow on some of the tracks, and now that I did like the finishing phase, I just was still in the flow of those tracks, and I was like, and I had the deadline because deadlines are at this stage are like so makes so much sense because you are like at the phase of like just fine tuning the details that are already there. The track is already there. You just need to like fine tune like the things, and having a deadline for that is beautiful. It wouldn't make really much sense to have like a deadline in like a creation phase. I mean, you have in some way, I guess, but having the deadline in like this fine tuning phase is like so useful. And I'm definitely and I'm probably soon going to be doing my next creation phase. I am going to keep having the finishing phase as well. I do sound like a broken record, but I'm pretty sure you're happy as well that it's that, you know, because I mean, you were a big part making it happen and like putting it together. And I'm like so grateful for you doing that, and you and Crywolf making this happen. So for everyone listening, it's like I'm not paid for saying this.
No,
this is just my absolute coming from the bottom of my heart. It's like an absolute beautiful thing that I discovered and that really shaped the way I make music. And it's even if it might not be for everyone, I think you should at least give it a shot once. Because you also discover a lot for yourself. And even though this might not be like the process you want to work with all the time, I think there might be reasons for you not to follow this all the time, but there still are definitely going to be things that you learn about yourself and your creative process.
Thank you so much, Killin, for saying that. That means the absolute world to me with all the work that we put into that, to see it actually having real life tangible effects on your life to the point where you say it's one of the greatest decisions you've made for your music career. It's just, yeah, thank you, dude. That's just, it's incredible. It's amazing. If someone wanted to enter the world of Killin Void, how would they go about that? Should they follow you on Instagram? Should they send you a DM, an email? Like what's the best way to get into the Killin Void family?
Follow me on Instagram because that's where I share all my music, but I also share like all the stuff around it. I share like, as I mentioned, like videos that help you explore my world more, that help you understand what I'm about, because I think there's like a lot more than just my music that this project is about. It's like a lot of energy, a lot of fun, a lot of visual aesthetics as well. So I think that would be the best place to start with. And then obviously like from there, you would probably at some point end up on my Spotify and check out my music there. I have like a playlist pinned there that's like the Killin Void starter pack, where you can like get like the perfect, like, because like I think like just the artist profile on Spotify, it's just like just the tracks that have like the most streams up there. But sometimes I feel like there's like some other tracks that I would show you at first if you were first introduced to Killin Void. So I would recommend you check out that on the music side.
Do you have anything that has recently come out or that is going to come out here pretty soon that you want to talk about, that you want to promote before we end?
But it's like a collaboration with like one of my best friends. I'm super hyped for it. It's called This Song. And that's pretty much all that you need to know about this song.
Branding is impeccable. That's great, man. And final question I have for you is, who would you like to see come on the show? Who's some people that you would love to come on Behind the DAW to be able to learn from them?
In fact, it's like really, really inspiring being. I think it's super interesting how, I don't know, I feel like the worlds he creates, but he's still like such a distinct sound, and to some degree like a very, very, very niche and like a very small spectrum of genres. Like he makes rhythm. That's it. I think it's like super interesting to see like somebody that is like been in the game for very long, but makes like a very distinct sound. I think it's like a wonderful being, very creative being, very inspiring being. So that's somebody that I could really recommend getting on the show. And I don't know, I think you would be really open to it as well.
Thank you so much for coming on the show and doing this. I know, like I said, we filmed 3 years ago. It never came out. I think this is the new and improved, polished version. So thank you so much, dude. Is there any last words you want to say before we close out?
Not much, really. I'm just super excited that the Behind the DAW podcast seems to be starting up again. I've been like such a big fan, and I really missed it. So yeah, I'm just really excited that you're doing it again. Super grateful for like all the things, the masterclass and everything you've done so far. So, and yeah, and thanks for having me on. Obviously, it's been absolute blast. I'm so happy to share my experience and like my thoughts with people. So yeah, thank you, Wyatt.
DAW Nation, I spent so much time convincing Killin Void to give us a free sample pack from this song. So if you don't get this sample pack for this song, I am going to be so disappointed in you that it's going to take until next week's episode for me to forgive you. So don't make me do that. Go download it right now. You're going to love it. And make sure to tune in next week for our episode. And before you leave, make sure to go check out the Crywolf Masterclass. DawNation.net/Crywolf Masterclass. With all that out of the way, I love you guys. You guys are awesome. It's so good to be back, isn't it? Talk to you soon.